I was trying to decide what I would speak on. There's a lot of crypto experts here, so I thought I would talk about something a little bit different, which is the marketing side. So how to market your product. I'm gonna talk about the psychological biases and some of the things that I think I'm observing in the blockchain crypto world that can be improved upon. Specifically, this thing, for it to work, it needs a network effect. And there's not enough people yet using these cryptos and, of course, all the projects yet. So a lot of people are calling it a scam and a Ponzi and where's the users, and Warren Buffett says stay away from this, it's going to end badly. All that changes with mass adoption. So I want to talk about the psychology of mass adoption. I'll step back for a second, tell a little bit of my story as it pertains to this. So I've been an entrepreneur for a while. I started with Google AdWords in 2001. I was broke, living in a mobile home in 2001, and I stumbled upon an ad on the internet, and it was a guy on the beach, and he said, I'm gonna show you how I made $30,000 today laying on this, beach chair. And I thought, I wonder if this thing's real. So I clicked it, and it was like $500, and I bought this program, and some of it was online. This is before internet video, and they shipped you a little book, a little 3-ring binder. I go through it, and the only thing I remember was there's this new thing called Google AdWords. So I started with Google AdWords about a month after it was launched by Google. I didn't know I was catching a trend, but obviously it was a little bit of luck. Then in 2008, somebody told me there's this new thing, Facebook ads. So I looked into that. I remembered back in 2001, I had gone from being broke to making 6 figures in like 9 months from catching this little Google AdWords trend. Then 2008, Facebook ads comes around. And all of a sudden, nobody was doing it. I was kind of in the beta program. And fast forward, that transformed my life and my businesses, catching that wave. 2014, somebody said, hey, Ty, you should do YouTube. And I messed around with it, and then January of 2015, I launched this little video. It said, here in my garage. And now it's gone on. There's a few variations, but it's had 600 million views on YouTube across all these videos. And so through this whole process of catching these trends, I noticed the underlying fabric that made it all work, that made something to propel. All of a sudden, what I was doing with YouTube, about 200 million people saw it. So it was mass adoption of watching this video. Now, as I look at crypto, especially the ICOs, I go, this is still very niche. What is the underlying psychological bias, you could call it, that causes something to hit the tipping point of mass adoption? So that's what I'm gonna talk about. There's a few things. Does anybody wanna volunteer? Is anybody here doing a blockchain project that wants to volunteer their website that I can pull up? Anybody? What's your website? How do I spell? What is it? xriba.com. All right, let's pull this up. So psychologists found there's 25 things, 25 psychological biases that underlie every person's decision. So everybody here decided, do I want to come to Polycon? You didn't realize it, your brain's an algorithm. It did the math. It went through 25, now not necessarily all 25, but for those of you who are extra smart, your brain probably went through 25 steps. It's like a branching theory. One of those is authority bias. So people were trying to perceive or trying to infer, is Polycon going to have enough authority? Are there enough smart people going to be here? If you notice, most conference websites try to put, here you had Patrick Byrne and you had all these, the co-founder of Ethereum. That's the first one. The second one, here we go. So let's look here. This is something I do. I'm an angel investor too. Let's talk about the psychology here. So this is, you doing an ICO? Okay. Do you want me to do what I call the Godfather? Do you want the good news or the bad news? If you watch the movie The Godfather, there's this scene where the guy goes, I work for a man who likes bad news immediately. So I'll give you the bad news first. So the first thing, we talked about the authority bias. There's another bias called the likability bias. So humans, if you do eye tracking of little teeny babies, you take a 9-month-old baby in any culture in the world, and you hold up 2 pieces of paper. One has a human face, and one has text. 99% of all eye tracking will show that the babies look at the face. I think almost all blockchain websites and the branding is missing a face. There's no face. You should have a face here. Unless you're a brand like Apple that has spent hundreds of billions of dollars creating a brand, you need a face. People follow humans. You know, in crypto, it's been interesting. Most of the projects that are at the top of the market cap, with the exception of BTC, who's a name associated with Ethereum? Vitalik. Everybody knows. Litecoin. Charlie Lee. Even Bitcoin. What's the name that everybody, when you talk to people, they go, Bitcoin. Who is Satoshi? So there's 2 psychological biases missing from here. It's authority and likability and relatability. And relatability is very, very powerful. I can tell you from this, I do a lot of social media. I've got I need to update those stats, but about 200 million people a year watch my stuff. And people now, with the widespread use of video, brands that move towards faces or following an individual do a lot better. Even Apple, we all know it was Steve Jobs. So I think you need to have, are you leading this project? Okay. Second thing, you're missing authority. There's no authority here. Who here has ever gone to YouTube or had a friend send you a link to a YouTube video? Let's say they send you a link. It's a 10-minute YouTube video. Do you ever look how many how many views it has before you watch it? Almost everybody does. If somebody sends you a 10-minute video, first thing you're going to look at, views. If it has 4 views, you're not going to be the 5th. But if it has 1 million, that's authority. Humans lie, but numbers don't. You should have your numbers up here. If I want to impress people, I'll throw out numbers. I'll say, I just passed 1.3 billion minutes of my videos watched on YouTube. Or I was just named top 10, Forbes named me top 10 business influencer in the world. What is it about you that could be here? People will follow you. And these projects, to do well, and blockchain follows the same psychology as everything else. When I got into blockchain last year, I've been following it for a few years, but I really dove in last year, and I was like, this is going to be different. This is full of all genius people who are just, Stephen Hawking-like. And then I realized, nope, same level of emotion. It's all humans here. So what is something that's an authority? How can you show authority here with numbers? Do you guys have any numbers? Have you done business before? $10,000 customers already in Italy. That should be right there. All this nonsense nobody cares about. They really don't. We will bring entrepreneurs to the blockchain. If you do eye tracking software, people go past all of this. Now you have a video there, but it should be a person. It should be a person. I'll show you guys something. Can you pull up here Instagram? Let's pull up, I don't know, Drake or Kim Kardashian. I'll show you this, and you can see the psychological biases. Do Champagne Poppy. So Drake is one of the top musicians in the world. Let's see if these rules apply even to, is there an underscore on Champagne Poppy? There we go. All right, so let's hover, scroll down a little bit. Hover over, let's say, I don't know, This right here. This over here. Here. Let's look at this one. Up here. Yeah, any of these. So look, this would be an example. Now open. 199,000 likes. Now remember, the blockchain is supposed to be open consensus, right? It's supposed to be this open ledger, so you can see there's trust. Social media is already a blockchain. People don't realize it. It's just not, it's 1.0. What people are doing now is 2.0 and 3.0. Social media, look at a Twitter poll. I did a Twitter poll on what subject I should talk about. It's very hard to manipulate because you'd have to manipulate thousands of people, millions of people in this case doing the poll. You can look right here into the psyche of humans in a way you've never been able to do at any point in history. People don't buy into imagery like that. There's no face. 199,000. Go over to this one over here. 1.2 million. So a magnitude of 7 or 8. This applies even to Drake, even to Kim Kardashian. I've gone through social media and over seen this. Go here to, pull up my Instagram for a second. I'll show you something, an experiment that I did. I'm always experimenting. Who's the most popular person in the world? Go down a little bit. Down, 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 down. Stop right here. So I did a Christmas party for my office. The Kardashians were there. So this is Kendall Jenner, very popular, 245,000. This is what I was talking about, likability. But what's more likable than a Kardashian? A baby? Okay, scroll up, 245,000 likes right here. My grandma, who turned 100. Who here likes their grandma? Who here doesn't like a Kardashian? A lot of people. 332,000, not quite double. Once again, likability. I was doing this exercise for a lady at a big conference where people, business owners, it wasn't a blockchain, but a woman had a website. Can you pull up his website again? She had a website very much like this. And I said, but no one likes inanimate objects. There's no relatability. And I said, tell me about your story. She said, well, we paint houses in Florida. I said, is it a family business? She said, yes. It's me, my 2 sons. My 2 sons have 4 kids each, 8 grandchildren, all working on the business. I said, you know what should be on your homepage? A picture of a family, multiple generations, 10 family members all working together. From your gut feeling emotionally, who would you rather buy from? Who would you rather paint your house? Would you rather support multi-generation family or something that just says we paint houses? So in the crypto world, everybody's copying everybody else for some bizarre reason. That's why I said it's as emotional as any market I've ever been in. And I've been in the game since 2001. I used to work for GE Capital. I've been around the finance world. This needs to stop. It doesn't work. You can do eye tracking software. People will click off of this in a heartbeat. Yes, the hardcore crypto people might buy this, but that's not the market for crypto. People say they want to bank the unbanked. Well, bullshit. This won't bank the unbanked. Who else has a website? Let me pull up another one. Now, there's good news about it. You've got 10,000 Italian people. Put that on the front. Who else has a website? What is it? Cody? COTI.io. Remember, nothing works without mass adoption. Nothing. Everything is bullshit without a lot of wallets. Trust me. How does crypto work? It's not going to replace. How many people use dollars in the United States? Everybody. How many people use BTC, ETH, Litecoin? Walk down the streets, poll people. Nobody's using it. Nobody. But you have to step outside of your world. What's wrong? This is a very interesting website. Okay, here we go. Finally, a digital currency built for payments. So first of all, you got to erase that because there already are digital currencies built for payments. You have to elaborate on what's different. So the 25 cognitive biases, if you want to write them down, I'll list some of them. There's liking bias, authority, social proof, reciprocity, urgency, Kantian fairness. So those are, let's say those are the first 8. Those are very important. Asking people to put their email rarely works unless you give somebody something. Who here is super excited to get added to another list? Yeah. People, this is like, now the most powerful of the 25 biases is reward pain, okay? All species, all organisms move towards reward and move away from pain. You see a tree, all trees are doing is moving towards where photosynthesis happens, which is the sun. You plant a tree here, and it's moving towards it, and it moves away from the wind. You'll see trees that are grown like this. What you're basically, at a subconscious level, what you're saying is pain, pain. Who wants more pain? Add your email, and I'll cause more pain for your life. I know what you're trying to do, but you can do it better. You can do it better. Now, I know most people say, well, these websites are all about technical white papers. Not really. It's an emotional game. Do you really think Ripple is worth what it's worth? 100 billion coins potential at $1. It's a $100 billion market cap. Bank of America, which has trillions of dollars of assets, is only worth 300 billion, but Ripple is worth 100 billion? No, it's a pure emotion game. If you want to make money, if you want to change the world, you have to understand human emotion. And human emotion's been studied for hundreds of years, even thousands, and DNA changes slowly. We have the same DNA as our forefathers 10,000 years ago. It changes at the rate of 1% per 10,000 years approximately. So it's very primitive what's going on here. You know why BTC rules the world? Because it has the network effect. It has a lot of authority. What are 99% of Bloomberg articles about? Are they about Stellar? BTC. BTC rules because it has the most authority. It's not necessarily the best, and it has the most network effect, so it has the social proof. What social proof do you have? I'll just do a little consulting for you. Who are the founders? What should we know about them? Okay, click on team. If you do the math on Google Analytics, almost nobody clicks to page 2. So if your goal is come to my page and go to page 2, you're going to lose half the people. But let's say you get people, okay, go down here. I know people love this kind of team approach to websites. This is very 2004. No offense to you, everybody does it. No. There's nothing about, who's the leader here? Go to the top. Are you Shahaf? Is that you? So what is something that will really convey a lot of authority and likability about you? There you go. Air Force major. For some people, they'll go, what does that have to do with blockchain? For other people, it'll be emotional, and they'll say, my dad was in the military. You should put that. I've led men. I've led women. I'm leading this project. Believe it or not, and I have tested. I spend about $50 million a year testing this right here, just so you guys know. That me and my business partner, we've spent over $500 million on internet ads. So this is not coming from an amateur place. We've spent over $500 million in our companies over the last 10 years. So that will work better than put a video on the front. Video, by 2020, 80% of internet consumption will be video. One more person, we'll do one more. Third person. Polymath. Is Trevor here? Okay, I gotta watch what I do. I'm gonna get the hook pulled off the stage here. Polymath, it's .network. Polymath.network. All right. Poly- Polyamorous work. Okay. Now, I think this should have you, Trevor, on the front. I'll tell you another thing that I think is good that you should blow up larger is all this stuff. Who here perceives, if I say to you, or if you meet someone says to you, I'm on the Forbes list, does that matter to you? Who says it doesn't matter to you? Raise your hand. Who here you would go, I see that person exactly the same as I saw them before? Yeah, one person said that. And that one person, I bet you if we put, I spent 30 grand buying this it's like sweat. It's these little meters you put on people. And you can perceive people's change in sweat and heartbeat. It's almost like a lie detector test. I would put that on you and introduce one person and say, this person, you know, is whatever. This is Bob. He owns this small coffee shop down the street. And then introduce a different person and say, this is John. He's on the Forbes list. The sweat glands, you would change. I bet money. So you should have, what did Forbes say about you? Do you know? Is it an article? Let's click it. One of the best marketing angles, if you want to know what works, look at what the SEC and the FTC bans. Really. They ban it because people fall for it. Now, you don't want to be manipulating people, but for example, you know what Facebook and YouTube don't like? Before and after picture. So if you're selling a weight loss supplement and you put true, not made up, Bob took our supplement, or Susie took our supplement. Here's them at 300 pounds, and here's them at 120 pounds, or whatever, 150 pounds. Google won't let you do that. Do you know why? It's what Charlie Munger and Warren Buffett called the Lollapalooza effect. It's impossible to resist. People will buy. Okay, here are you in this article? You're listed in here? Okay, well, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. Go back. Oh, here it is, right here. No, go forward. You were there. I saw CEO of Polymath. Wherever, you were quoted here, right there. People feel comfortable with the name and the technology behind Ripple, said Trevor. Blockchain platform, blah, blah, blah. Go back to the homepage. This needs to be on the front. I think the most powerful thing you can have. Now, once again, Apple does not do this. But who here has a brand as well known as Apple? Yes, it goes Apple by name recognition, Coca-Cola, Polymath. I hope so. I'm an advisor on it, so that'll be good. I haven't sold my shares yet. I think securities token platform needs to be explained. And like I said, I used to be a CFP, certified financial planner. When I grew up without money, I was born to a single mom. My dad was in prison when I was born. I never met somebody who ever made 100 grand in my whole life. I grew up in a mobile home that's now smaller than my bedroom where I live now in LA. And so as I grew up, I was like, man, there's this group of people, we don't know anything about money. And then there's the people who know about money. And then I started to teach myself about money, started to learn. Went and worked for GE Capital, used to be the largest company in the world. Learned about finance, and then I realized nobody knows about finance. All you have to do is go one step deeper when you meet somebody who says they know about money. They don't know. If you ask the average person in this room, what's a debenture? Who here knows what a debenture is? You come on stage and talk about it the definition of an expert, in my opinion, someone who can come on stage and entertain a crowd on any topic that they're an expert on for 20 minutes. Who here can talk for 20 minutes on debentures? Who here actually knows what a debenture is? Raise your hand. So to expect people to know what a securities token, there are people at your conference, Trevor, that came to the securities token platform. If you put them on camera, they'd be like, blah, blah, blah. It was in the Bahamas. It's nice. It's warm. That's why I'm here. Love you, Trevor, but it's warm. Who here was slightly moved to come to this because it was in the Bahamas? If he would have put this in Detroit, who would be here? You'd still, okay. Half the room only. He doubled his conversion rate by making the location more likable. That's likability. Bahamas. This needs to be more likable. The bull is fine. I will tell you, Trevor is a very likable guy. Who here has met Trevor? Trevor, he's got good social skills. You need that on the front. You need a video of you walking, and you're like, you know what? Here's my story, and this is why I built this. Who, what, where, when, and why. Anybody ever heard of that? Must be on your website. Who remembers that from high school? Who, what, where, when, and why. Who is behind this? What are we doing? It needs to be no jargon. People don't know what security tokens are. You could still have this. Polymath enables trillions of dollars of security to migrate to the blockchain. How can we say this simpler? How can we say this in a way that more people will understand it? Because you're not always speaking to the CEO of the company. Sometimes the CEO sends his assistant, says, I heard about this Polymath thing. Go check it out for me. And that assistant's the gatekeeper. They come back and they say, yeah, I think you should go check it out. Let's play the video at the bottom. Whatever's below the fold doesn't get that much. That needs to be up, up, up. Let's go here. Let's see. It's too short. 1:55. Everybody's videos are too short. Short always loses to long. Ideal length, okay. It's okay, it's very professional. You mark my words, the rise and fall of corporate advertising, boy. Corporations, Kodak, most powerful company in media. 100 years.
Function better on the blockchain.
All right, you can cut this for a second.
Equity, LP shares, and
Kodak, who destroyed Kodak? No, one kid when Santa Monica, or up in California, was like, I'm gonna make an address book app. Nobody bought it. He pivoted. I'm gonna let people upload pictures. I'm gonna name it Instagram. It took him exactly 2 years to displace a 100-year-old company, because what's more likable as a media company? Taking pictures and taking it film to a place to be developed and sent back to you? Or even digital cameras? Or the end goal of what's the end goal of pictures? What's the reward? And I also want to speak on, I'm going to take some questions at the end, but I don't want to go too long. I think there's a break after this. A break's probably more interesting to me. What did I say is the most powerful bias in the world? Pain and reward. The main thing missing from every website. What's in it for me? Me. Using the word you on your website. So let's go back here to the home page. Every one of these websites, it needs to be about what they're gonna do. So if I would change my website to say, Polymath allows you to legally take, oh, that's nice, legally take your company into the blockchain world without worrying about lawsuits, compliance, FTC, allows you to raise a lot more capital, go on global markets. Are you gonna allow people to be able to list on various exchanges? Longer works, I promise you that. I've tested that. So the question, somebody said, what's the ideal length of a video? I got a buddy of mine that I say is the best marketer in the world, and he hates people. I promise I'm his only friend. Once a year I go to New York and I meet with him. He's the most introverted guy, but he's a monster. I mean, he nets about $6 million a month. No one here has ever met him. He has various businesses. He sells everything from Viagra and this stuff and all these kind of gimmicky things. Not the most ethical guy that I've ever met. but a master marketer. And you can take what he does and you can pick and choose and leave out the unethical stuff. But he's the one who told me, longer sells. I said, how long? I said, he said, as long as it's good. How long should Game of Thrones be? Who here watches Game of Thrones? It's the most watched show in history. Who here goes, I'm glad this season's over and they better not make another season because I'm sick of this long, there's just too much Game of Thrones. No, people have depression when Netflix or HBO is over. They're like, when's season 8 coming out? How many books should, what's his name? Martin, what's the Game of Thrones guy name? George Martin or whatever. How many books should he write? There's a whole cult following begging him to write more. As long as the video's interesting, it shouldn't end. Because what do you do when a video is too long? You just pause it. And your most engaged people watch all the way to the end. And the most engaged people are the people who come on here. So you can have these explainer videos. It'll never beat a face, a good face. Let me take a few questions, and I can talk longer or I can get off. I know, but I think this is the biggest weakness in crypto. A lot of crypto is full of very intelligent people who are very good at designing products and the technology and the cryptography, but if nobody uses it, you know the saying, if a tree falls in the middle of the woods, does it make a noise? You heard this before? And you know what my answer is? Who cares? That's the correct answer. If you make the best coin in history and nobody uses it, who cares? Elon Musk is a genius because not only has he been able to create products that are transformative for planet Earth, but the man's a master marketer. I don't know him well, but I've had some interesting conversations. I live in LA, and he likes to go to Hollywood premieres, and I go to a few premieres. And I went to the Game of Thrones premiere season 6, and we've talked before. I own a big book club, and he likes books. And he asked me, he said, Ty, I know you know about social media. Should we use Snapchat to market Tesla? And he's a very smart guy because he let me babble for about 20 minutes. And this is what he said. It's a true story. It's not doesn't reflect well on me. But I'm sitting here, I'm like, man, Elon Musk is asking me for advice. So I'm telling him this whole thing about Snapchat. And then at the end I go, what do you think? He goes, because I was like, yeah, you should use it. And this is how you should go behind the scenes and this. And he goes, no, I don't think we need it, but thanks. And he walked off. That's my Elon Musk story. But he was saying we're already good at marketing. And if every company here could have the acumen of an Elon Musk using psychology. Let's think about one of the things he did recently. Did you guys see this flamethrower he did? I mean, this was insane. Did he have a corporate video of the flamethrower? Can you pull up Elon Musk flamethrower, Nathan? This is good marketing. And he actually had to shut it down because too many people ordered his flamethrower, which is a good problem. Did you see, how many billions did he sell overnight with that one Tesla launch? Here we go, right there. Okay, you could have a girl do it. There's one where he shot it, I thought. There he is. So there was a little clip of Elon shooting it. People, I promise you, 30% boost in Tesla simply because everybody perceives Tesla to have Elon Musk in the front. You guys need to market yourself. If you're smart enough to get into blockchain, you're smart enough to master marketing. There's two sides of the game. Did Microsoft build the best products in the world? But who was the richest man 17 years in a row? Bill Gates, Steve Ballmer. Who controlled the world? It took a long time to unseat Microsoft because they were good at marketing. And you might not think they were good at marketing, but that's when you really know you're good. It's like jujitsu. When you don't know, you're being beaten in a fight. Art of war. The wise general wins without anyone realize that they're fighting. And that's what Elon Musk has done well, and he's a master of it. The Boring Company, who's heard of that? It's a genius name. First time I heard it, I was like, what? And I had to look further because it's relatable and it's funny. There needs to be more of that. Any questions on this? And I can review, if anybody has a website, I'm glad to review it. Yes. Okay, so the biggest obstacle to the average person buying crypto is the wallets. Who here uses like my ETH wallet, That thing is what I call a deep, can you pull that up for a second? Now, it's a great website, it's a great technology. I want to go on record. But if you wanted to de-optimize a website, so let's say you're on a date, you go on Tinder, you meet a girl, you're single, or a guy, and you guys ever seen The Office UK? Anybody ever watched the original Office from the UK? There's a scene where he's doing online dating, and he's on the camera, and he's like, yeah, my date's gonna be here. They say she's gonna be wearing this pink scarf. She looked very beautiful in her pictures. And then you see this big fat lady, kind of, no offense to overweight people, but you see this big lady coming with a pink scarf, and he can't see it, and he's like, she's gonna be here. And he turns around and he goes, oh, for fuck's sake. So his whole goal was to get out of the date. So if you want to get out of having customers, you want to study this website with precision. Now, who made this website? I don't want to offend. Who am I offending here with this? So first of all, red with exclamations. What does that scream? Pain. Pain. Please take some time to understand it for your own sake. I know what they're trying to do. They're trying to do disclosures. They don't want to get sued. You don't have to do it this way. Radioactive material has less warnings than this has right here. So now you go, now the button is also de-optimized. My ETH wallet is not a bank. I don't know why that's a button, but let's just say you click that. More pain. They decided, it's very bizarre, they decided to do messaging in the button. Don't do messaging in the button. Okay, go, it's an interface, which people don't know what that means. This is why. I mean, I'm telling you, I get millions at a time. I've been able to break websites with sending traffic. If you send them to this, it's just, no, but out of 100 people in mainstream world, one person will sign up to this. I guarantee, I'd bet $1 million on that. One. If you'd fix this, you should get a 10 to 30% opt-in rate. It's just, now I know their goal is an opt-in rate and it's not purely about marketing, but how does crypto work without real volume? It just does. My friends that really know, I've got a few friends that are from the world of finance, and they look at crypto and they're just like, there's no volume. It's rising on low volume. They don't understand crypto. And I try to tell them crypto is different, and there's a lot of people who hold, it's not a comparable to the New York Stock Exchange. But the thing has to trade, and everybody and your grandmother has to have crypto for it to work, really. A good book, if you want to write down a little homework to do for 2018, study one book. It's called Crossing the Chasm. Can you pull that up on Amazon? Who here has read this book? Read it again. It is an extremely powerful book that exactly lays out what has to happen for crypto to work. It's read in a lot of business school, Joffrey Moore. Okay, the other question, I saw some other questions. Yes? Yes. Good question. So you were asking what's a good website to look at? Okay. Yeah, and the second question was, yes. So you should have subtitles in your videos. The average person's not watching, not always turning on their audio. So you should have subtitles. If you want to be sophisticated, you could detect the browser language that they're watching, and if they're Italian, show them in Italian. Most people speak English. That's going to be your target market in most of the world, unless you're heavily in Asia, I would say. An example of a good website. I'll show you one. Apple is, look at Apple for a second. How much time do I have here, Trevor? As long as I need? Okay. If everybody's bored, just get up and leave, then I'll get the message. And now, Apple, as I said, breaks the rule of not having a face. But it's okay, because they have massive brand recognition. But they're genius in one action right there in the middle. They want you to buy the iPhone 10. It's not a very busy website. It's clean, it looks really good on mobile. Who thinks subconsciously you perceive that image as reward if I put these sweat meters on you? It's kind of cool. It's like, say hello to the future, iPhone 10. Who here's heard of the iPhone 10? You click on it and it takes you, click into the, takes you right in. Scroll down a little bit. Now, if you're asking me, are you asking me for a good example of a video, of a website in crypto? In crypto, I think a website that's good, I think I think Coinbase killed it with the UI. Who here went to Coinbase and was traumatized? I'm confident I can send anyone to Coinbase and they basically get it. I also think, pull up CoinMarketCap. Even though, again, this is CoinMarketCap, I think that the website is good. I think it's better than most. And it's a top Alexa site. The thing just works. It's simple. You get the information exactly that you want. There's no jargon on it. But in the ICO world, I haven't seen a website. Let me put it this way. I was talking to someone out there. First wave, second wave, third wave. Third wave makes all the money. I've become friends with Tom from MySpace. You guys remember Tom? Your first friend. And I got him to do an interview with me. And he said, Ty, I told you stuff I've never told anybody. And I don't even remember this so well, but 2005, Alexa rank 1, what was it? MySpace. Bigger than Google. 2006, bigger than Google. He sold it for $580 million, then it tanked, but he walked with his money. What was wave 1 of social media? What was the first social media site? Friendster, probably. So that's wave 1. What was wave 2? MySpace. What was wave 3? Facebook. So if you were in 2005, who should you be studying? Wave 2? Because if I did this talk in 2005 and I said, MySpace is going to lose, people would be like, what are you talking about? It's the #1 website in the world. They're doing everything right. Well, wave 3 comes and wipes all the players. The Friendster guy almost committed suicide. He became an alcoholic because in 2001, 2, he had the #1 social media network in the world. He was offered $30 million. He turned it down. And what's Friendster worth now? Who here is on Friendster? We have one person. I think it's big in the Philippines. He's a friend of himself. It's a social network of one. He friends himself. Do you ever block yourself for messaging that was inappropriate to yourself? So in crypto, what I think is happening, I think we're in wave 2. So wave 1 is the go back to the OGs. It was, 2008, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I'd say wave 2 started probably in 2014 with the rise of ICOs, really using it to bring capital to the game. So here we are in 2018. Wave 3 is going to wipe everything out. So for those of you who are doing well now, just remember the MySpace story. You can go from #1 website in the world. He said at any given time, between 10 and I think 30% of the entire world was on his website. That's how you can fall from grace now. And I asked him, it's an interesting story. I said, Tom, what do you think happened? And he said, Mark Zuckerberg was better at experimenting. He was never satisfied. He continually split tested things, and he was better at marketing. And I said, what do you mean? He said, true story. I was at a conference. I was speaking. This is Tom. He goes, I'm speaking about MySpace, how I built the world's biggest website in the world. I'm making all this money. And this guy comes up to me, and he says, hi, I'm Mark Zuckerberg. And he shook his hands. He had kind of heard of him before because Facebook had started it at Harvard. So he shakes hands with him, and this Mark Zuckerberg kid says, here's my question to you. Why is your website so much sexier than mine? I just noticed, I talk to people, I've been polling people, they're like, MySpace is sexy and Facebook isn't. And Tom goes, I gave him the world's best advice. I said, oh, easy. You only allow one photo to be uploaded. People like to look at faces. Allow more pictures. He said within 1 week, Zuckerberg made that change, and you can pretty much exactly track the rise and fall of MySpace versus Facebook to that point in time, that tipping point. So minor lesson there. Be careful who you give out your strategy to. It might be the next Mark Zuckerberg. All right, a few more questions. I thought there was a lady who had, yes. Best psychology book, I mean, Cialdini did some good ones, Influence. The best book on psychology and 25 cognitive biases is Poor Charlie's Almanac, written a compilation of Charlie Munger. Charlie Munger is a genius. Him and Warren Buffett do $200 billion. It's an expensive book. It's a $120 book. Poor Charlie's Almanac. And he goes through these 25. But, yeah. Notice I didn't tell you guys all 25 because I know the story of giving away all my secrets like Tom and MySpace. But if you can incorporate the most powerful this thing about websites, there was these two kids in 2015. I gave a very similar talk at the Roosevelt in LA. And I said, make sure your website has all 25 cognitive biases. And these two kids, Samir and Juan, they were making like $2,000 a month. And they went through, and there were 19 or 20, and they made sure that every cognitive bias was on their website. They had testimonials, which is social proof. They had authority. They had video. They had likability, their background story. And they shot, and now they make about $220,000 a month at 21 years old. They come to me, and they're like, Ty, we don't know what to do with all this money, man. I'm like, you have the most first world problem in the world. It works. This stuff works instantly. So, anybody else have a website? And then I'll probably wrap up here. Yes? BANKOURS. ORUS. Try to make your website somewhat, it needs to be, what did we spell wrong? But yeah, there we go. Bankerous. Is that what it is? Bankerous? Now, you really want to look at on a phone. It's about 60-40 now, the traffic in the world is going to phones. No stock imagery. Destroy all stock imagery. No stock imagery. Doesn't work. None of that. The hands thing, entrepreneurs love the hands thing. Never tests well when I test. Okay, intro, Crip Wealth Management. Who's behind this? Click on team. Are you a leader? Are you the founder? What's unique? Are you Gregory Vanderboer? It's a good damn name, I'll tell you that. Old money wants to go to Gregory Vanderboer, I'll tell you. They don't want to go to Ty Lopez. They're like, who's this guy? Build a wall, keep him out. Bring in more Vanderboers. Are you South African? Belgian, okay, good, Belgium. Okay, what's interesting about you? I call this my Bill Gates valet test or Elon Musk valet test. Just imagine this. We'll do this. You're at a party. Elon Musk rolls in. Elon Musk loves the party. I see him all around in Hollywood. So you're out in Hollywood with me. We're at a party. Elon Musk rolls in. He's walking to the valet to get his keys. You say to him, "Hey, Elon." He turns around. He's got the door open. He's getting ready to close the door of the house. What do you say to him? They call this the elevator pitch. Nobody's in elevators anymore. This is the modern version. You're at an event. What do you say? What catches his eye? Okay. So the biggest Vanderboer in Asia. Is that true? Do you have numbers that can back that up? What's a number to back? People lie, but numbers don't. So you have 200,000 family offices already using your software? That's not on the home page? Who here is impressed by that? Wealth management, who here is more likely to, is this an ICO? Who here is more likely to invest in that versus this? I mean, forget that, enough with these little collages of faces. I hate that. Go back to the homepage. This thing needs right there. Wherever it is. Yeah, not introduce. This is so blasé. You know there's over 1 billion web pages active right now? This doesn't stand out. You should have a video right there on the side. It opens up. It says, "I'm Kiki Vandeweghe," or whatever. Sorry, that's a basketball, for those of you who like basketball. And I'm the largest Western company in China. I've got 200,000 Chinese family offices using our software to manage wealth. That's good. I have no idea, but instead entrepreneurs put hands. This is the worst thing. You could destroy this video. It's fine, it doesn't work. I know what people are trying to say. It just doesn't. It doesn't convey authority. It's supposed to, but it doesn't. It's people been hoodwinked and everybody copies himself. Also, don't say register for the token sale. Say something else. Say above that. So the world's far. You should say something. Also, don't be afraid to be aggressive. Put right in their thing. We're going to take down Bank of America. We're going after SoftBank, whatever. Be bold. Alexander the Great, he said there's only 2 types of people in the world. Those who conquer fear and those who are conquered by it and suffer and die. Be Alexander the Great. You're like, people followed Alexander the Great. 31 years old, took over the known world. You already got 200,000 people, my friend. You're already on your way. You need to have videos of those family offices. Who's the biggest family office, or don't say the name. How big's the biggest family office using your software? How much money? 8 billion. Right there, case study. Write that down. The phrase case study is massive psychological magnet. Put real life case study. This is what Polymath needs too. Case study. $8 billion family office uses our software. Before they struggled with blankety blank, now here's the results. Pull up real fast, just Google weight loss before and after pictures and go to Google Images. It's insane how compelling case studies are. And nobody has case studies. And you sound like you're a blockchain application that's actually working. Let's look here. Who here, just go on the first one here. Let's just start with number 1. No, there. Nathan, there you go. Did she tattoo her stretch marks? Is that what I see? Yes, she did. Okay. That's a compelling picture. If you went to a website as a woman and it said, the future of weight loss, and it was like hands using an iPad, and a private jet stock photography. It's like, or it just goes, right here, it has you. This is either you or you're interviewing that person, and you go, you know what? Tell me about your life before. Emotions. I almost killed myself. I was depressed. I was bullied because I was overweight. I stumbled upon this company who showed me a simple 8-minute a day workout. What, you guys ever seen Something About Mary? 6-minute abs, 8-minute abs. And now I look like this. My life's changed. I'm married, found the man of my dreams, kids. That's what works. Humans, who here has read The Selfish Gene? Reread The Selfish Gene. I own the biggest nonfiction book shipping company in the world, Mentor Box. Walmart's a customer. We have 48,000 people. We're like the Netflix of books. Most important book that I think any human can read is Selfish Gene. All humans are gene vehicles, and genes and humans are very susceptible to emotion, and it doesn't have to be manipulative. If you really have 200,000 customers and it's a real case study, be bold, share it. I don't know why people don't want to share it. By the way, if you want to know the greatest psychological tactic in crypto so far, I'll tell you, I've never seen any genius like this. Who knows what the most genius thing in crypto since inception? Airdrop, that is a good one because it's reward. What's the greatest one? I hope I don't get in trouble for saying this. I'll be bold. What? Lambo, having a Lamborghini? No, in crypto. What's the greatest? Here it is. Guys, I own this coin, and because of you, because I care about you, I need to sell at the top and cash out for billions. I need to sell all my Litecoin. And everybody's like, what a hero. He did it for us. You guys know the story of Charlie Lee and Litecoin. That man is a master of psychology. And all these crypto geniuses are like, he did it for us. Yes, I'm pretty sure he was up late at night going, you know what I care about this guy that's at Polycon? I'm just gonna have to divest myself of several $billion. What did he sell Litecoin at? 330? What's it at now? What's Litecoin at now? 120? The greatest genius of our time in crypto. So, all right, any last question? They said I can go, yes. Best way to position yourself to take advantage of the third wave, which will come. I predict third wave is between now and 2022. So next 4 years, 5 years. You catch crypto right now, this is the time to be in. You know, Brock Pierce, when I first got into this, I sat down with him. I said, what do I need to know about crypto? He goes, dude, we're early. We're early. Brock has been the most accurate person I've talked to in crypto so far. Everything he said has been right. And I think that the third wave is now. You see smarter people getting in the game, even though there was smart people in wave 1 and wave 2. Don't get me wrong. Tom was a smart guy in wave 2. It's cycles, it's like waves. You can't even beat them, no matter how smart you are. And some people from wave 1 will survive. Wave 1 was Jeff Bezos, 1994. He's still here. So if you can survive some of them you got in early, if you don't get cocky and you continually adapt, you can make it to wave 3. Best way to position yourself for wave 3 is what Mike Tyson did when he had the greatest reign in boxing probably of all time, before the cocaine and stuff, or before, you know, he got a little off the rails. He said before every fight, he was sure he was gonna get knocked out. He was worried about it. And so he trained not as the champion, but he trained as the underdog. So if you're already killing it in the game with a website, you know, look, go back to Polymath. Polymath is doing well. Everybody's here. I'm an advisor on it, so I'm not bad. And I tell, if you're already doing well with this, imagine when all the marketing and all the psychology kicks in. All of a sudden, now you have mass adoption. And when you hit that tipping point, I've seen it 3 times in my life, hitting the tipping point. It's punctuated equilibrium, like crypto. And my prediction on crypto, somebody asked me this. I think crypto is going to go like there's a theory of evolution called punctuated equilibrium, which means that evolution didn't happen gradually. It wasn't like first there was, single cell organism. It was like flat and then big pops and then flat and pops. And if you look at crypto, that's what's happening. So there'll probably be another huge pop here. November, December was a pop. A year or some ago was a pop. When ETH launches a pop. So position yourself now to have a likable, authoritative, relatable message that's primarily driven by video is how I would do it. That's how I would do it. All right, one last question, then I'm going to wrap up here. Anybody? All right. Yep. If you go to a video, should it auto start? Here's the thing about video. You're not trying to get everybody. What you're trying to do is engage the people who are really interested. Perfect analogy. Let me go back to the Tinder date. Anybody here ever use Tinder or Match.com or any of those? Anybody willing to say? Okay. Everyone else found their love of their life at the bookstore, some magical place, watching Notebook together. So you go on a Tinder date, right? You sit there. If you like the person, if it's your target market, how long should the date be? Does anybody know the actual science of this? This is from a man's standpoint, by the way. I haven't seen the female science. It's probably different. How long does it take for the average woman to sleep with a man? 10 seconds. You ain't meeting women on Tinder. You're on a different website, my friend. You're on the street corner website. If you can get women to sleep with you in 10 seconds. No, it's not 10 seconds. Most women are not very loose. The average woman isn't. What do you think's the average science? Any guess? 3 dates? 2 weeks. Okay, you guys are missing the action. So this is interesting that you say this. You're missing the right metric. It's not dates like weeks or days. The metric is hours or minutes. The answer is 7 hours. 7 hours. So a man can have multiple strategies. Now there's pickup artists in LA, and those guys advertise, I'll teach you to get any woman to sleep with you on the first date. But it's very kind of sneaky messaging, because what they really teach you is how to get a girl to hang out with you for 7 hours on the first date, because that's how long you'll need. Because humans, you guys know what game theory is? Everybody know game theory? Beautiful Minds, Stephen Nash, Nash won not Steve Nash, but John Nash won a Nobel Prize in economics. There's 3 types of people in the world. There's suckers, cheaters, and grudgers. It's not just people. It's the same in birds. It's the same in flies, mosquitoes. So suckers, grudgers, and cheaters. Suckers continually fall for stuff. Cheaters continually try to exploit. So who is it that said 10 seconds? Biologists would consider you having a cheating strategy. You're very quickly being like, I want to put my genes inside you. Not these genes. A sucker, there are women who will fall for that. So a man says, I love you. You're the only one for me. I've waited my whole life. There are women in this world that will jump in bed with you. 10 seconds would be pretty phenomenal for you to pull off if she'd never met you. But most humans in game theory, when they do these simulations, most people are grudgers. What grudgers are, at one point they were a sucker, and then they remember. So the average woman, who here, women, remembers a guy telling you he loved you, but then it turned out he didn't really love you. He more wanted to sleep with you in short term. Any woman ever had that experience? Probably all women. No one wants to raise their hand, but I see some nods. So the game theory goes that men are trying to get as much as they can for as little as they can, and women are trying to conserve. The actual reason, it's actually not male and female. Any species, whoever has internal gestation always is slower. So in seahorses, it's the opposite. In seahorses, the women are quickly trying to hit it and quit it, and the males are like, I like to take it slow, I need to get to know you. So it's internal gestation. So when it comes to marketing, people are coming to your website and they're grudgers. Who here has ever done business, ever bought a stock, ever gotten a business partner who convinced you that this was the thing and it was going to be the end all, and it turned out to be not as good as you thought? Nobody? Everybody's a sucker here? Or is everybody here a cheater? Maybe everybody's the one doing exploit. No, the average person with money especially is a grudger. So everything I've talked about today is overcoming the grudging. And the way you do that in dating is time, 7 hours, and usually change a location. So you have to bring a person. So these pickup artists teach guys, okay, take the girl for coffee. If you like her, now you've 30 minutes gone. They have like a countdown timer. Now you need to move location. It'll feel like a whole new date. And they do this 3 locations, and this is their theory. It's the same with your website and your branding of yourself. The average person will take 7 hours. It's interesting. They actually did studies like Harvard Business School. It takes 7 visits to your website to buy. 7 interactions with you to build trust. In that book I gave you guys, Crossing the Chasm, it's all about this it's always all about getting past this chasm where most people won't buy. And crypto right now will either die in the chasm, or it will get the average person in America and in the world to participate. The average person in America is not even close to, just ask 20 people you know not in crypto who owns more than $100 in any coin. It's 1, maybe 2. That's not mass adoption. And the reason is crypto, there's not enough conversations with people. So make your website, your wealth management, Polymath, the other person that I talked to here, the Italian guy. Make your website have a long conversation, because you're not trying to sleep with everybody. When you go on a date with a girl who does not like you and you go, let's hit the town for the next 7 hours, she's going to be like, excuse me, I need to use the bathroom, and then you'll never see her again. She'll do the old bathroom disappearing. So it's okay for people to hit your website who aren't engaged. Let them go. But those people who are interested, they're going to need to know a lot about you. And a website does it better than anything. I get millions of people hit my website. You're convincing people, you're getting allies on your side while you sleep. It's all through the use of video. So thanks. I'm at Ty Lopez, and I appreciate it.